Hi everyone, it's me again, Charles Norman, Sports Solution LLC, and we are the creators of AthleticSOS. And so you'll notice this week in this title, I don't say anything about athletic scholarships. Now, we're well known for AthleticSOS. It's a software application. If your kid's trying to get an athletic scholarship, it's perfect for you guys. It'll find all the colleges that they academically qualified to attend that have their sports at the level they can participate. And down at the bottom, I give you a code. I give you instructions for how to use the code. The software does not cost you guys anything. And then I also add a little YouTube link that'll let you see what AthleticSOS is and how it works, so you can decide whether or not you want to use it. It's great for you if you have a kid, if you have a relative, a friend of the family, somebody that plays high school sports and they can play at a level that they can actually play at the collegiate level. It's really trying to get kids to the collegiate level. If you are a teacher, a principal, a school board member, something like that, coach for a high school program, then we have a high school version of this now that will let the families go out and do their own research and find the schools that they qualify for, and then you can come back behind them and help them because you can see the schools that they want, and we give you the ability to contact those coaches at the collegiate level, and then you may be able to make a partnership. Even if they're not interested in that particular student athlete, there's other athletes that they may be interested in, and you'll have an opportunity to maybe market one of your other athletes, maybe this year, maybe in the future. And one of the things I'm trying to do, and I'm really pushing this, is I don't want to miss out on anybody because you're hesitant or anything. Let the parents decide. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. But if you get the code and you're a coach or something like that, you can contact us at info@AthleticSOS, and we'll be able to work with you, or just look on our website. You guys can just email us and I'll get you guys set up. It doesn't cost you anything for the school. The way we're going to try to get our money back so we don't go broke here, because we do have to develop the software. I do have to pay some extra programmers because I can't do everything anymore. We've got thousands of kids using the system. We're going to create a e-commerce site as part of AthleticSOS, and also we have a space there now for sponsors. So if your school already has sponsors that are putting those banners in the gym and on the field and all that, and they want to show up when those kids log in, it will show that they helped bring this software to your school. And one of the reasons I think we're having success, we're not jumping through all of the loopholes that are required by schools to bring software in. What we're saying is, hey, just make this available to your parents. If you have to get the approval to connect like that high school version, you don't have to do that either. You can just say, hey, we saw this cool software, here's your code, here's your thing, parents, take a look at it. If you guys want it, you can use it. If you don't, you don't, and you can do it that way. We've had it both ways. Sometimes there's somebody on the school board or somebody in the high school or somebody part of a travel club program that's like, oh, we need to vet this, we need to do that, we need to do this. Let the parents decide. The problem is, and I worked in government for over 30 years, so I know all the paperwork, everything you need, all the hoops you need to jump through to get something approved, especially in the software world. I get that. That can drive you nuts, and then you lose those people that could have used it right now as you're waiting for later on. And we're completely legitimate. We don't take the software. We don't even have the kids. The parents can decide how much information about the kids they want to put in the system. That's up to them, and you're not creating the software for them. They decide whether or not they want to use it, and that's a big difference. And I went through this, like I said, I went through government background. I know how it works. I know where your liabilities start and where they end, and so it's available. I don't know what else to do in that situation. We do go through the process for some of the schools that need to, but I'm telling you, it takes between 8 months and a year. By the time we get in, that whole year has gone by, and so I know it's there for a safety reason. Like I said, I worked in government. But for this video, we're not going to talk about high school athletics and athletic scholarship and things like that. We're going to talk about something different. And it's about the magic of youth sports is gone. This is my opinion. I'm not blaming anyone on this, by the way. I think all of the coaches that teach youth sports, all the organizations, all the trainers, everybody that's involved in that, you guys you're doing the best job you can. I've seen the coaches alliances that are trying to make sports a little bit more fun. But I have had the opportunity in the last few years to go from the 5-year-old to the 17, 18-year-old, all the way through. And I'm discovering one thing: the magic is gone, guys. And what causes magic, in my opinion, and this is all my opinion, and we're going to change this, and this is why I'm doing this video. We're going to change it. I've got a plan to try to change it. I know I can't do it by myself, so I'm going to need you guys' help, and I'll tell you how the best way, if you're interested in what I'm about to say here, if you want to kind of join in on what we're trying to do, I'm going to go a lot further with it, but I don't want to make these videos, you know, an hour, 2 hours long. So I'll do something on the other side. I just need to know who you are if you're interested, and I'll get it out to you. So what is magic to me? Magic is three things for me. One is curiosity. And we've taken that away from our kids just in general. And I've watched this as even when I was coming up, the minute you hit school at 5 years old, you hit kindergarten or whatever you're doing, you go to elementary school, the first thing they do is take curiosity kind of away from you. And reason I'm doing this with sports, and this could be with anything, right? It could be arts, it could be theater, it could be STEM, science and technology, engineering. The only way we can have magic in the world where something comes out of nothing, somebody came up with something because they see something a different way. They've discovered something. And so in sports, it's the same exact thing. You're trying to find a way to discover the sport that fits who you are as a kid. And one of the things we end up doing, especially with the young kids when they first started out, is every neighborhood, I'm out in suburban, so you got soccer, you got baseball, you got basketball, you got football, you maybe have volleyball. Unless somebody's really showing signs of it early on, I don't see a lot of kids getting into tennis or golf or archery or maybe wrestling and all that. They don't start there. They start at these other sports. They don't even know that other sports even exist for a while. And I'm not even going to talk about rowing and sailing and things like that. They'll never even get in that. Your family would have to be around that area, or someone close by you have to be around that area, or you have to have a curious parent. If you have a curious parent, there's something about them that's a little strange too. So that's that world, right? That curiosity. So that's the first part about it. The second part about it is dreaming. And people kind of get weirded out when I talk about that, but for young kids, it's more about daydreaming. We wipe that out of, what's the first thing you do if you're in class and you kind of drift off as a kid? I don't know how they think a little kid is going to sit still in a classroom for 30, 45 minutes straight trying to learn a lesson. It's impossible, especially for boys. And I'm not saying girls don't get restless too, but for boys, it's impossible. We fidget after the first 10, 15 minutes, especially if it's in a subject like math or science where it's not clicking with us. We don't even know what you're talking about. You're using a different language. The words that are being used, it's rote kind of learning. And I'm not going against the school system. I'm not going against teachers. You guys are doing what you need to do. And I always say the same thing. You got 30 kids sitting in a room. And I would say maybe 5 of those 30 kids are going to be your A students. The bulk is going to be in the middle. And then you're going to have 10 kids that are not going to do well. They're going to get D's or C's. They don't get it. They're not going to get it. And if they don't get it, they don't do the homework. If you don't do the homework, or if you do the homework, you're getting everything wrong. You take the test, you're getting it wrong because you got lost. And the first couple of classes, everybody's fine. And this is even in college. The first couple of classes, you think, oh, I can do this, even though you were a little nervous about taking a certain class. And then by the 3rd, 4th, 5th class, you go, wait a minute, did I miss a week? Did something go wrong here? I don't know how we got there, but that's because you had to do that self-learning at home. That's what it's all about, is that you go back. And if you're interested in it, you'll do that extra work on your own because you're trying to figure out something. And so this is how kids get left and get lost. And so that's part 2. So dreaming. And for me, also dreaming is, let's say you found, with your curiosity, you discovered the sport you love. And then when you go home, you see yourself playing that. You think about it at night. When you're dreaming, you start to see yourself in that world. That's what dreaming is all about. So there's daydreaming and there's dreaming. So we got curiosity over here where we're going to discover. Then we've got dreaming or daydreaming where you see yourself doing it, or you see it. It's something that's got you connected with it. And so you start to dream about that. And so we've taken that away from kids. And then the third part for me is imagination. And so imagination is where I think is the key to the magic. One of the ways for sports, and I'm just trying to throw this back into the sports world, one of the ways for sports is when you go and play and you create something that no one else has done. One of the things that was interesting to me, and we used to do it when I was coaching my daughter now, because the girls don't really get to go out and just play, right? Just have fun. And we were playing basketball when she was really little. She was like 5, 6, 7 years old. And I ended up coaching with the NJB out here. And what I used to do is I would roll the balls out, and I would always get the coaches at the beginning of practice, and we would sit around and we would talk, and then I would talk with the parents, because I always have to have two of the moms had to stay at the practice, right? That was part of the rules for the NJB because they're little girls, right? So you want to make sure, even as a dad, I wasn't going anywhere anyway. But some of the other parents would get in their car, they just want to know what time practice ended, and they had to go make some runs real quick. They would come back, but they had to go make some runs. And they trusted us, right? Because we're all in the same neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody. But anyway, so I did it on purpose, though, and they would be like, hey, my coaches early on, they'd be like, hey, we've been sitting over for 10 minutes. But I just wanted the girls to go and just play with each other, just throw the ball, flip the ball up underhanded and throw it, because that is what imagination is. What can you do? You got to get the ball in the basket. That's the key, right? So what are your ways of getting the ball? And I used to see the kids throw the ball over their head, behind their head. I want that. I want that. That's where you're going to get the players that play the game a different way. How would you get that ball in the basket? How would you hit this ball? How would you do this? How would you do that in sports? That's where you get the magic. And one of the things that ends up happening, and I know Malcolm Gladwell did this in one of his books that I kept, Outliers, I think it's called. You guys should get that book and read it if you can. But he talked about, he had followed some hockey players, and he had found the ones that were born early in the year, the first quarter of the year, January, February, March. Always, if you looked at the people that got to the pro level, they were the ones that were born in those early years by a wide margin. It wasn't like it was accidental. And I find that in other sports, depending on when that sports season is as youth and when that kid was born, it can make a huge difference. And I realized this after I read the book years later, that my son was born in the middle of the year. He was born in July, but my daughter born in March, that first couple of months. And so I recognized that all the girls that were born in the early years, and I didn't know about Outliers, and I didn't pay that much attention to it, but I saw it. I said, these kids are all better than the other kids because they've got this big gap of age, and at that young age, their coordination is better, their maturity is better. Everything that you're looking for as a coach when they're doing tryouts or when they're playing, they're a level above those kids that were maybe born later in the year. And I was a November kid, right? So my parents, if they would have done this, I probably would, maybe I would have had a better career, right? My mom would have just said, okay, we're going to wait till next year to put them in school. I would have been the oldest kid in my group, but I actually connected with some of the kids behind me that were, and kids that were later in the year. But I'm not saying anyone's doing anything wrong, by the way. I'm just trying to figure out, how do we fix this? And I have an idea for this. And I hope some of you guys want to come along with this. So 3 things right there. We've got curiosity, right? We've got dreaming or daydreaming. I want the kids to just sit down in their rooms. Parents don't come by and go, hey, you're not doing anything, come do this, come do that. We hate when our kids are idle, but that's when they create stuff in their head, when they're imagining things where the magic is happening. And then that last piece is that imagination. We want that in our kids. We have to develop that. We want that to happen for them. I want them to see things. I want them to walk in a room. I want them to walk into a place, and I want them to go, whoa. Wow, and just start looking around. What is this? I'm interested in this. And it doesn't just have to be sports, it could be in everything in their life. But I want us to get back to that. We're creating these robotic kids. And so you see them all doing the same thing. There's no joy. You go to any game, you don't see any joy. But for youth sports, I don't care if it's the younger people, junior high, or even high school. When you go, the best players from before when they were little, for the most part, if they grew into their size, then they're the ones playing still. The other kids get pushed over to the other area, right? There's the recreational kids, as we call them. But those kids, if they really love that sport and somebody came in there and worked with them and they got a chance to just play pickup and be in the world with those better kids, those better athletes, the ones that get it already, the ones that have a parent or an older sibling that's already playing and that parent understands the game and they're taking them out extra and they're getting more hits or more shots or more whatever it is that sport does, that they're getting that inside knowledge. I always talk about one of the things I always tell my wife, we'll be doing some stuff and something around the house messes up, like there's a hole in the wall. I can try to patch this drywall if you want me to, but when you walk to this room, you're going to see that I patched that drywall. Whereas somebody knows what they're doing can come in and do that in a way where it just disappeared into the wall. That's somebody that knows those little bitty extra things. And if they came and worked with you, like if you watch them do it and you go, can you just show me what you're doing? I could probably pick this up, and that's what you used to get from your aunts. I mean, your aunts, your uncles, or your dad, or your parent, or somebody. But we've become specialists in the last 50 years or so, where I can do computers left and right. I could walk in, but whenever I tried to show somebody, their eyes would roll in the back of their head. Hey, here's what we're doing. Here's why we're doing. Because I don't want to come back. You know, you're trying to connect this to this printer. You got to do this, and you need the drivers. That's back in the old days, right? people would just gloss over because we've been trained to go, that's not what I do. I do this, and I'm going to be good at this one thing. But you want to have a little more around it, and you want to give people a chance to develop. We want to do that with the kids. So this is where I'm going. We're gonna do this. So I have an idea for how I want to do it. Again, if you guys want to contact me, in fact, what I'll do for this one is, down below, I always tell you guys, if you want to use AthleticSOS, I give you a code and I give you instructions. I'm going to put 2 codes down there this time. So don't contact me at info@AthleticSOS. If you use that second code, and I'll write it in a way where it makes sense so you can see it. If you register for AthleticSOS using that second code that I'm going to give you, because you don't necessarily have a kid that's going to play at the next level, I will make sure that mailing list is part of the registration. You give me your name and your email as part of, and I will send you information about how we're going to move forward. I know exactly what I want to do. I know I'm going to do it. I'm still concentrating on the high school kids. We're actually going to make some cool changes to the software to keep up with what's going on right now. But this youth thing, this is a big thing to me. Bringing the magic back to youth sports is something I really, really want to do, because I think it's going to make a difference. I think if these kids can discover something that they really love about a sport, even if you're not good at it right now, but it captures you some kind of way, that is what the secret is. I think that's the secret sauce. So how is the kid from the inner city or somebody who lives in the mountain somewhere going to learn about sailing? And how is that sailing kid going to learn about, I don't know, some other sport? I'd have to figure out what that is. But there's 32 sports, and I'm going to concentrate on the sports that go with the ability to get athletic scholarship. I'm going to stay in my bubble as I do this, but I think this can be used in other ways too. And so one of the things I tell everybody around here, we have a skate park. Of all the kids playing sports around here, the most joyous kids I see are the ones at the skate park. They have a thing for, the bike, kind of the X Games type thing. The bikes and the skateboard, they got the little like swimming pools they look like, and they go up and down, and you can see the joy in those kids. And the biggest difference between that and all the other sports, where I guess the kids are having fun, but the joy is because there's no other adults there. These kids ride their own bikes over there, or they take their own skateboards over there, or the parents drive them over there and they drop them off, and it's done. They come back and pick them up later, and that's it. The parents don't hang around there. They're not sitting around watching and listening to little bitty kids. They're not bothering them. They just let them go. And you see the older kids help the little kids, or congratulate them when they do a little cool trick that they've been working on forever. That's magic, guys. I don't know any better way to put it than that. If you ever go to one of the skate parks, pay attention to it. Watch how they create their own world, where they support each other, where they're doing things that they have never tried before, where the coach would say, stop fooling around. That's what you see when but I did it. I know when I used to coach, I go, hey, are you guys going to be serious today? Are we going to get this done? Because you're on the time, you're on the clock, right? You got only so much time to do this, and we got to go. Somebody else gets the court, or the parents got to go, or you got stuff to do. And so you don't have time to just let them have fun. And you go to any park around here, in your neighborhood, my neighborhood, you don't see a lot of kids playing pickup. Now, when I grew up in the inner city in South LA, we would go to the park. Somebody would get up in the morning on Saturday. One person would always come to my door, ring the doorbell. I knew it was one of my buddies that he got up, but I have chores, right? I've got to do the living room and the dining room. My job is to take that lemon pledge and wipe everything down and make sure everything's straightened up and there's no dust anywhere. And then I have to wait for my mom to come see that. I got to eat breakfast, and my room has to be clean. Those are my 3 things I have to do every Saturday morning. I have to do that. But he would wait on my porch until I got everything done. I grabbed my bike, and me and him would go to our next friend's house. And and there were 5 of us, and we did this all the time, on Saturday and on Sunday. If you had to go to church, by the time you came back, you were like throwing your clothes off and throwing them on the floor just to get out, because you didn't want to miss out anything. And then we go to the park. We would decide we're going to do football today. We're going to do baseball today. We're just going to go to the park and play on the swings. What are we going to do? And all of that is us just discovering things. When we played basketball, we didn't even play games because there were 5 of us that always hung out. So we would play horse or out, right? So that's all creativity. That's part of that discovery of what it was. And so these are the things that we're trying to get back to. But how do we do that? And I think I have a way of doing that. So I don't want to make this video too long. Youth sports has lost its magic. I think our kids deserve better than the way we're doing it right now. How do we pull that off? If you guys are interested in this at all and you want to kind of join in with this, look down below, like I said. And in fact, I'll put something on the end of the video. I'm starting to do that now, because sometimes people see this video, but they don't see it in the format where they can see what I write below it, unless you're on YouTube. And then you can see it that way. And if you're watching it somewhere else, if there's a link on there to click it, to watch it on YouTube, then you'll go to that page and you'll see the stuff down below. But I'm going to try to put it on the last frame of this video too, how to contact us, how to contact me for that. And then if you guys register using that secondary code, so there's a main code I use, That's for the kids that are trying to get AthleticSOS. They want to use it, and it doesn't cost you guys anything to use it. It's a great piece of software. We've done a really great job with it, and I know we have because parents keep writing me like, where was this all my life? I wish I had this when I was a kid. So we get that all the time. But I'm going to give a secondary code, and I'll put it something by that code to say, hey, this is for the Magic. Maybe I'll make the code with some kind of words that have magic in it or something like that. And if you use that one to register, then I'll know you want to be part of this, what we're going to try to do to bring it back to the youth, the young kids. So I'm going to concentrate on the 5 to 10-year-olds first, because once you get to 10, 11, 12, you're in the junior high school years, and then 13 and up, we lose most of the kids. We lose 60 to 70% of the kids at age 13, and the reason for that is it's high school. You got to make the team there. But you get a few kids that will still play just recreational, but most of the kids, especially the girls, we lose them really early. At this point, we lose them because they just lose interest in it. Now they want to be more girls, more feminine, so they don't go more into the sports world. They just kind of hang out with their friends, and they just lose contact with sports at all because nobody's forcing them anymore. They're high school kids now, right? I want them to be playing for the rest of their lives, even if they're not playing at that high school level or the college level. They don't even get that far. But if they find something they click with, something that's important to them, they'll continue doing it. And remember, and this is what we're doing with the high school kids and junior high, what we're trying to do with these kids is we're trying to get them to build a network of really good people. And sports is a great way to find it. It's not the only way to find it, but if you can get into a world with something that you're interested in and you're going to stay connected to it, the other people that are in that world are people that are going to be your friends for the rest of your life. You guys might play this game forever, or maybe as they trail off, you'll pick up some new friends there. But that world, that sports world where kids want to be there, where they're happy to go to practice, and even the ones that aren't that good at it, but this clicks with them for some reason, they'll get better and they'll get good enough. And they'll be able to play this sport as long as they want to because they'll do the extra work. And that makes all the difference in the world. And if we can get this right, maybe we can figure out a way to transfer this into the classroom, into learning. I think that is what it really comes down to. What do these kids click with? How do they learn? That was one of the things for me. I'm very visual. I have to see it. You have to show it to me. You can't tell me. You can't write it out on a piece of paper. I want to see it. And if I can see it, I can do it. And so, but there's other people you can just tell them, or they just want to read it. They don't want to see any videos. They want to do it. Just give me the text. Let me read it, and then I'll process it my way. We all process things different ways, but we learn we don't have time to do it for each of those 30 kids in that room. And that's why you have these A students. You have because it fits them. It's the way they learn, the way they think. They get it. They understand the steps they need to do to be really good, and then we promote them up in a way and we make them special, right? Then you got the middle kids. These could be the kids that just want to stay out of the way. That was me. I'm a middle kid. I don't want any trouble. I don't want to be shown. I don't want to be stand out on anything. I just want to make it through. Just leave me alone. And then you got the kids at the end that may have missed it early on. They didn't get it, and there's tutoring available for them, but they don't even want to do that because as a little kid, you don't want to be shown off that you don't get it, like you're a dummy or something like that. And so you rather go out and play at the recess like everybody else when you could have got a little bit of extra work. You could have asked for that tutoring, but you don't get it. And as adults, especially for teachers and school things, over the years, you just get a little more jaded, and you're like, hey, if they don't want to come in and ask for it, I'm not going to do it. By the time those kids get to high school, they've never seen their counselor. They've never asked for help in a class that they're having trouble with. It's very hard to identify them until they've been failing over and over again. The teacher will take that red, D or F and slap it on your desk just like they did the kid with the A. Everybody can see it when it hits the ground. You can see the disgust in the teacher's face when they give it to them, and it feels like they're not trying, but they've given up. And so I can only do this with sports. I can't do it with the other pieces of it because I'm not part of the other pieces. And so this video is kind of going too long anyway, and I'm kind of going out on a tangent. But here's the last piece I want to say. I had the fortune of growing up in Southern California. And I know everybody calls this California. They got a bunch of names for us out here, right? But this is a great, great place to grow up because there's so many different things going on around us. And so for me, when I was a kid, my mom used to take us to Disneyland. That's the first time I saw magic in my life. The Pirates of the Caribbean, for me, when you finally went through the outside line and got to the inside part, it felt like the whole world changed. It was kind of dark. It was moody. It was just you saw the ships. You're not quite sure what's going on. You almost have a little bit of fear in you. That was magical to me. And my mom used to get mad at me because I'd want to go stand in that line again. That, the haunted house, and then Tomorrowland. I didn't even want to go and ride It's a Small World. I wanted to ride the mountain roller coaster thing. That was cool. The log ride's cool. But I just wanted to go to Pirates of the Caribbean. To me, it was magical. And so that's the kind of thing I want all for our kids. I want them to walk into something, especially if they're 5, 6, 7 years old. I want them to feel that with sports too. Like they just happen to get on a sailing boat and learn how to sail, and that thing takes away from the dock. I actually got a chance to go, and I'm trying to work with some people for rowing and stuff, and just that if you learn and you get it right, that feeling, that smoothness when everybody's working together on something. Okay, I made this video too long, but I want the kids to find something that fits into them, into their psyche, into the way they think, the way they move, something that just is magical to them, and we're going to try to figure out how to do it. So again, there's going to be 2 codes this time. One is the one for you guys, if you're just our normal code for the kids that are trying to get AthleticSOS, and then I'll mark the second one. It's for people that are interested in, and you can use that code too. It'll still work the same, but you're not necessarily trying to figure out which college you want to go to, right? Which one matches up to you. You just want to be part of this other thing we're doing. And then I'm going to make a separate line of videos that follow that. And then I'm just going to send those links to those people that I have the email from that second code. And you can do both, but we're just getting started on that. I know what I'm going to be doing. And then, like I told you guys before, I'm working on some cool stuff for November. Mark the dates, November 10th, 11th, and 12th. And I'll tell you guys in the next video what we're trying to do there. I'm just making sure that everything is lined up correctly. And then there'll be an opportunity for you guys, whether you can do it or not, I'm not sure. And then from there, we're going to keep on building on stuff. I'm having a great time here. We're doing things our way. This is what I just had this whole conversation about. And it took me a little while to do it because I didn't want to go down this road where I don't know what I'm doing and try to figure it out. But I've taken the reins here. And so AthleticSOS was our first attempt at this. I was going to just do another software for the younger kids, but I want to go further than that. I've got this other vision that I want to do. And I've realized now doing the AthleticSOS, getting up here and doing these videos like I'm doing right now, I would have never done this a few years ago. I definitely would have done it 10 years ago. I'm like, what am I doing? Nobody wants to hear from me. But you guys are feeding back. I can't thank you guys enough for the feedback and the affirmation that, hey, keep doing what you're doing type thing. I'm enjoying the heck out of it now. I'm pretty confident in what we're going to go. And so many people are helping me on this journey that have no reason to help me, but they are. And I just reach out, and that's the other thing we're going to talk about in some of the future of these videos. I want you guys as parents to do that same thing. I want you guys to start dreaming. I want you guys to have some curiosity, and I want you guys to use your imagination. There's something you want to do. There's something you've just been hesitating on. You're not quite sure. You don't have time. You got all this other stuff going on in your life, but I want you guys to do that too. I want you to not have the anxiety I see around me and my family and friends about this economic system, about the student loan repayments, about how much a car costs, how much it costs to go to the gas station, how much it costs to go to the grocery store. If you've got something else going on in your life where you got some control here, where you can make a few extra bucks, where you can be doing something, you're around some cool people that know this or know that, you can take some of that anxiety away. You're not stuck. You're not at the behest of an employer or the government or something like that, that you've just decided, hey, I'm going to figure out how to do this for myself. And that's where I think we're supposed to be, and we've kind of lost our way. We've kind of gotten dependent on stuff. I won't say we've gotten soft, because I'm part of this too, right? I told you guys, I worked for the government for over 30 years, and so I got used to, you're going to get a check every week, you're going to do this, or whatever it is that was going on. And so this is my way of giving back, and hopefully motivate you guys. But the kids, I think we kind of have to start with the kids and get them where they want to go. And I want to get more of them playing sports, because it puts them in a good frame of mind. It puts them in a greater understanding of how life really works, the ups and downs, and that you got to put that extra work in, and that if you find something you love, you can do it. And that's where I want to get them. Even if you didn't start off as the best athlete, or have the best understanding, or you're a little scared, a little nervous, there's some people there around to support you if that's where you want to go. And that's who we want to be. All right, guys. As always, the best of luck in all your endeavors. Everything you want to do, code's down below. It's a little video shows you what AthleticSOS is. Go ahead and use it. And for the rest of you guys who want to join us on this other journey, the side journey that we're doing, more welcome to do that with us. And let's keep moving forward. Talk to you guys later.